All right, what is up, YouTube? MCool40 here with Team Deception 09. Going to be doing commentary with him. Anything you would like to say?
Good luck to everyone that's playing, I guess, and hopefully we get an interesting match.
I assume that Peanut Butter Pancake will be playing Shaddolls again, which I'm not too super familiar.
I'm not familiar with either of these players, so... But, I mean, either way, we can still try to hope and expect a good match. That's, because, I mean, honestly, like, the game has been kind of stale, so I'm just kind of hoping to see something good here. I think I watched the last one. It was all right. But,
I mean, looking at this, though, like, you've already got a 42-card deck coming
yeah,
out of the
that
floodgate.
kind of gives one of those flags. You kind of have to wonder why they're running 42 cards. Is it because of Upstart? Other things like that. So it's going to be interesting. Maybe it's a heavy search thing. I don't know.
Definitely a possibility. I mean, like we said, we know Megan Peanut Butter Pancake is going to be playing Dolls. So it's a very well-rounded matchup against a lot of the meta in today. But looking at this, though, not quite sure what EHJ is playing. Looks like Megan passed.
Could it be a Klee deck? I mean, they do have a lot of ways of searching. I
would definitely
it could be Nekroz too.
I would consider this to probably be more of a possibility of a Shaddolls mirror. Because of 42.
That's also possible. They have their... Well, it could also be Burning Abyss. There's a lot of decks to go to their actual deck pretty easy. So,
it is Nekroz.
Right. Okay.
42 for Nekroz, though, with like the limitations on like shred and things like that, seems a little bit bulky.
It's a little bit sketchy, really, but I mean, if it works, it works. I mean, there are people that play 50 and 60 card decks and actually manage to do well with them. So,
I mean, well, if you open up your Nekroz with Brionic, you get to shave
when you're opening Brionic, when you're already one card into your deck, it doesn't really matter at that point. I mean, it could be a different story. If it were a 40 card deck, you'd be down to like roughly 33, 34 cards. So, I mean, but...
So your turn one play is here to go Kaleido, Unicorn, and just kind of start setting up?
Probably. I mean, right now, I don't think either of these players know what they're playing against right now. Okay, obviously Peanut Butter knows what she's playing against, but, I mean...
oh, well, that's a good card.
There's the Maxi. Definitely a good response. I mean, if you're not going to be doing anything turn one, at least turn two you can be drawing a bunch of cards.
I mean, but looking at this, though, knowing that knowing that he could have OTK here, putting 8K on the board is not that hard.
Especially for Nekroz.
And, I mean, Unicorn, doesn't it just shut down a lot of the effects for this?
Pretty much.
So as long as oh god, he's just going to town here.
It'd be kind of hilarious to see that old Quasar play with Brionic, but of course it's not possible, one of them being in the graveyard now, but it'd be hilarious to kind of just see that and have something explode for no reason, but
that is
either
true.
way, I mean, we see the Valkyries drop to the board, and I'm sure it's going to be netting him Trishula. So,
I mean, we got 5,200 here. That Trishula gets in game, 8,100.
Yep.
Some
people just have it. Got to try again through that Maxi.
That 42 cards he opened, the Stone Cold Nuts.
Like I said earlier on, if it works, it works. You can't really deny results. If you, the player, are getting results with any kind of deck, you can't really deny those results. Now, obviously, someone else playing the deck, they may not get those results, but that's because of different play styles, etc. You can't really mimic that. So if 42 is working for him, that's more power to him, really.
The thing that you're missing out on here, though, is if you kill your opponent turn one, you don't get to see their hand. Also, you risk the chance of getting Juragated and losing.
Well, there is another benefit here for Peanut Butter, since she hasn't played any cards. As long as I'm not mistaken, he still doesn't know what she's playing. So
she's just playing Maxi the deck.
Pretty much. A good friend of ours, Jeffrey Torres.
Ooh!
Oh, damage. Oh. Wonder if she got that off the Maxi or not.
I think she might have.
Jeffrey's done stuff like this before where he would just not play anything game one, and if it was out of his hands where he couldn't, actually make a comeback that game, he wouldn't mind just losing the game and actually siding in hard against that deck. And it's not really a bad strategy as long as you can pull out the remaining two games. So I don't know if that was a potential thing that she was going for here. I don't know if she drew that damage juggler off the Maxi or not, but I mean...
But having looked at the scenario, the things that just happened, I mean, I feel like she's going to play into this unicorn negating stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot to get over. A dark hole here would really hurt. Same with a Regeki.
A dark hole here would win her the game.
Pretty much. I mean, what do you do after losing every card you have? I mean, to be fair, I don't know why the Maxi was normal summoned, but
I feel like it was
probably kept it in the hand.
I feel like it was a very greedy play.
I think it was kind of like an insult to injury, thinking he was going to win because she maxied. So, I mean, but either way, now both of them know what they're playing. So,
but you're playing in a format where you are aware that Jurogato and Damage Juggler are cards. What's the point in overextending, though?
Exactly. That was definitely a misplay on EHJ's part. I wouldn't have played the Maxi. It would have been hilarious if that had actually been, the killing attack.
Properly executed, yes.
Yeah. If it was executed correctly and you knew for a fact that there was no way that you would be stopped, I mean, but that was not the case, and
I mean,
he's punished for it.
You have Construct kill the Unicorn here. Or actually, excuse me, you have Trapeze kill the Unicorn. See,
going for the Maxi.
See, I feel that should not have been a thing because Unicorn is negating the extra attack function. But
true. I'm not entirely sure the reason for the damage.
The thing
it seemed like just like a huge damage push for whatever reason, which could have been done either way.
I mean, but she could have cleared the board here.
Looks like she's still capable of kind of getting rid of pretty much everything here. I mean, you got Trapeze on the board as well, and there's still another Construct to kind of deal with. Not to mention she's going to get something back from Construct.
Yep.
Not to mention Falco. So, I mean,
the combos
there's a lot going on here. So,
all because she had the Damage Juggler.
Yeah. The lesson to everyone, don't when you think you have game, you might want to take a step back and rethink it because your opponent may have that out. You don't do it without kind of just sitting there and questioning it. It may seem weird and sometimes wrong to kind of question a move like that, but you definitely want to step back and think about it before you actually make your decision because a lot of people tend to lose games over that. And as you're seeing through EHJ here, he had that established board, and now he's down to just a Trishula and one card in hand, of course. He's down quite a few cards. The Trishula is not hard to really deal with right now, and there's 2 back row, so he's walking into that.
All because you got greedy turn 1.
Pretty much.
Like, I'm not trying to be insulting or anything here to EHJ, but, like, this is just an excellent example of overextending.
He was probably going for style points or something. I mean, he knows this is being recorded, I'm assuming. So, I mean, going for that style points. Even Jeffrey would have done the same, I'm pretty sure. He would have gotten very angry about it. But, yeah, it seemed like one of those types of things where it was just going for style points or whatever. And, again, as we've already said, he got punished for it. So, not much that you can really do about it once it's already done. The Maxi, would it have helped? There was a lot of special summons on her turn. So, yeah, definitely.
I definitely think he would have netted, 3 cards?
Well, the thing that you also have to remember is that he wasted everything else he had. The only thing he had left that wasn't Nekroz related that was already on his board was a Maxi in hand that he decided to opt into summoning rather than, so I don't know.
And here you're witnessing Mass Sudoku.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Why would you ram the Trish?
I mean, he could have a good card in hand, may have some engrave effect that's going on right now.
Oh, he needs it off to go search for the ritual spell. Excuse me.
Yeah. So, kind of just getting himself situated with some more cards.
Well, but what's a monster that you can have in this scenario that would actually benefit you?
I'm kind of drawing a blank on that one at the moment, but we're about to find out. I mean, he's only got 2 cards right now. He has to do something or he's going to lose. And, of course, well then.
No, she's going to set up chain resolves backwards, core comes out, and then the El Shaddol resolves.
Yep.
Oh.
Goes to, I can't even pronounce this thing's name.
Anoitalis, or Anotalis. So
Well, annoying is definitely the case.
that spell just dies in a fire.
Yep.
Now that's some sick combo right
This
there on that
game's
chain.
completely over now. He can't play anything from his hand. Yep.
Yep. So going
Now
into
we get to see what they're gonna side. This should be interesting.
well, I mean, as long as you have access to Noitalis, like you should pretty much beat this deck.
Yeah. As long as they don't have an out to it. Like I said, his mistake was summoning the Maxi. I'm pretty sure this game would have been probably a bit different. Maybe even lasted a lot longer if he had actually Maxi'd when she went to go make that push. Because once she saw that Maxi was on board, she knew she had full reign to just play whatever she wanted to and out everything he had on his field, leaving him with just a Trishula and what he was going to draw. And that really set him back. I mean, again, style points would be kind of cool if it had happened, but again, one of those take a step back and look at your situation and ask yourself if that play is the right play or if you need to, reconsider. Um,
I mean,
this is something I've learned over the years. I'm sure that you've done this as well. I can't remember who it was that I read, but someone a long time ago said that they had written on their playmat that they had it was phrased something like, sit back a bit and think before you actually make that play. And I started applying that myself. So that's why I'm sitting here when I see him playing the Maxi from his hand. I'm like, that was the last card in your hand. If she's got an answer by some chance, what do
but
you do?
the thing is, even summoning the Maxi gave him no real advantage.
You already had damage on board for game. He had
Exactly, and
no need to play it.
it was
So
very clearly trying to impress the viewers, which was not something that you want to do, especially not knowing what you're playing against. When your opponent plays Max C, the first flag that should go up is, I'm probably playing meta. And then you just proceed to continue dropping your hand, which never ends well. I mean, granted, the reason he might have made the play was because he felt that he didn't have anything relevant, but he did have the Valk.
yeah,
And plus, she also had the Veiler to stop the Valk from recurring more cards for him.
you kind of have to wonder if she managed, like I said earlier, she could have potentially drawn the damage juggler. There was also the Veiler too. She may not have had either of those in hand, and the Maxi that she played may have netted those cards, which was probably also another huge part of the game. If she had actually drawn both, or at least one of the two off of that, more importantly the damage juggler, that was a huge thing. He could have chosen to play maybe one other ritual and kind of played a little bit more passive to get some damage in, not get too greedy, not give your opponent too many cards, and then kind of still have something to play with on a later turn. Sure, she may have gotten some setup, but at least you would have had some kind of options to summon against her. You could have even planned for what she had already played. You could have worked your strategy around that and kind of played around it in order to kind of put her in a bad situation rather than being in one yourself. And again, playing the Maxi and playing as many monsters as he did under Maxi probably was a combination of what kind of brewed to be his end game, which was obviously something you don't want to be put in.
Well, starting game 2 here, we know dolls do not like going first.
Well, it's either that or they feel confident that they're going first.
I mean, but you've got to open up really strong with those 5 cards.
There is a good chance that back row could be really relevant right now. Think about the things that she could have sided. There's that factor now. Side cards are now boarded in. And again, she could have the Maxi in her hand. She could have a Veiler ready for anything that she might need to Veiler. There's a lot. She's already shown that she plays multiple hand traps. She obviously has sided in because she knows what she's up against. Um, I mean, there's a lot to factor in now. It's not game one anymore. It's escalated, and even with just one back row, it's threatening, man. It's really threatening.
So with us being the filthy casuals we are, we probably would have cited in that young Curcio the Forbidden Spell.
It would be hilarious, but I don't know if anyone even sides that anymore. I
I
don't really see
definitely know
the
that they
big
don't.
names,
There's
but
way better cards now.
yeah,
I mean, this guy also opened up his one-up preparation of rights.
it's kind of a shame wasting it though. Like I don't, me personally, I don't like wasting it.
I mean, but if you've got to start your engine, you've got to start it.
Well, again, he's playing a 42 card deck. He has to somehow dig. So, playing the preparations, yeah, he might actually have to do this, but it's painful to do it because it could be one of those cards that just sets up a following play, which is always just really, really good. It's not at one for nothing, really. So,
True. Oh, here comes the young Brionic again.
that 42 card deck is now down to 40. I mean,
But still, it's questioning, and but it's working. So I'm just curious to know what the extra 2 cards are that he put in. What is making a difference
it
for
had
him?
to be something important, either something to get into those key cards really fast. Judging by the way he played that first game, he could be a very aggressive type of player, or maybe just in one of those aggressive like mindsets right now, feeling like I'm going in there, I'm going to do a lot of work, I'm going to just get in there instead of again stepping back, being potentially passive when you need to be, sitting there and actually thinking your plays through. Just slapping those Nekroz onto the board game one, it kind of just felt like a very aggressive play. So the fact that he took his time there with the Nekroz of Brionac kind of tells me he's considering the back row. He now knows that she has the Maxis and the Veilers in the main deck, so he has to be very cautious of those. He's going to probably sit there and actually think this game out. So we could probably expect a little bit more from this game than we did from game one.
Well, he's not going to overextend like game one. I would
Well,
hope not.
hopefully. We don't want him walking into something that could be a torrential for all we know. I mean, you really do not want to walk into that.
But
So,
here's the thing, though. This play gets her, or excuse me.
oh,
Ooh,
well then.
blow out that shit. So she did board in Mind Crush.
Well, of course, we if she mained it, that would be a little bit interesting. I mean, some decks do, I guess,
Now,
but
it is important to understand this, though, that if he does have a ritual monster in his hand with the proper requirements, that he is forced to summon it.
yep.
That is one of the most powerful things of this, because if the circumstances do line up in your favor with the
You force
cycle,
him to waste some cards.
yes, you force them to make a really, really bad play. But he's just going to go recur now to get the Kaleido and to make use of the Shrit.
Yep.
So all of that work that...
It still makes you wonder what rituals he has in hand now. I mean,
Or if he's got any at all.
Yeah, well, okay, I don't understand how that would work. I mean,
Well,
he
you know
didn't
he's got
attempt to
one.
ritual summon, so... But
This is going to be a very slow game.
like I said, he's taken that step back. He's realized what he's up against. He realizes the answers that she does have, or potentially has, and he's kind of trying to work his way around it. Setting up maybe a safe play on a later turn by being passive now, or maybe he's not drawing what he needs to, and maybe the same applies to her, because we haven't seen a monster from pretty much either of them yet. One of them got countered, and the other one hasn't played any monsters yet, so...
Now, looking at the game state here, a lot of Nekroz players are playing Decree right now. Would you side in Decree for this particular matchup, knowing that most all players are only playing 1 or 2 traps in the main, but the potential to board in Mind Crush is a thing?
That's questionable. It's not a terrible side card. I would honestly think that people would favor Shadow Mirror over that. I'm not entirely sure how prominent the Shaddolls deck is being played in the competitive scene right now. I see a lot of people talking about it, so I'm sure that it's something you're guaranteed to see at least at a regional level, and probably at least once maybe at a YCS or something, because much bigger tournament. So honestly, you have a couple options here. You have Vanities, of course. You have Decree, and you have Shadow Mirror. Shadow Mirror is good to kind of just shut down a lot of their effects, and you have Decree to shut down their trap cards. So it kind of comes down to, do you want to shut down their effects, or do you want to shut down their defensive cards for the most part, and kind of set them back a bit. Either one works. It's just, it comes down to like what information your opponent gave you, as well as your own personal preference.
Well,
So
the information I'm being given right now is the fact that that emptiness was chilling there.
yeah, I mean, when you got stuff, you got stuff. One of in a 42 card deck, it's a thing. I mean, and here we go. Is that other face down a core?
I would definitely assume that it is at this point.
Yeah, because she's asking for a response. It's probably a core.
Wow. Yep. Young and only tall. Ooh, see, there's the Decree we talked about.
Yep. I wonder if he's actually citing the what's it called? The Shadow Mirror. as well, because I mean Decree's good against several different decks, and of course can't really name off all the dark decks that you're going to see. Naming Burning Abyss and this, of course, but I mean
Did you
losing.
did you catch the Maxi on this chain?
Yeah. Well, I did she. I thought she fused with that.
No. Well, okay. Well, then this makes no sense. Why is the hat tricker gone then?
I'm not sure.
That's
She's
what.
not drawing, so I don't see in the chat as well that she chained Maxi. So just saying,
Oh,
I don't think she chained the Maxi. I think she actually fused with it. So
that would make sense.
and remember there was a discard for the El Shaddol fusion. So
Oh yes.
maybe she did
Oh,
chain it.
hat tricker is Earth. Correct.
Maybe she did chain it because she's drawing now, and it's still his turn. So I don't know. Maybe she did chain it. Either way, that's good for her considering she's
The
down
thing is,
to
she should have
5.
initially drawn. See,
True.
there's the hat tricker. So representing Earth.
And she opts to pass.
Well, I mean, there's nothing she can do in this point. Her core is negated by decree. Now you see, you brought up the point of him taking that step back. This is an excellent scenario of
Yep.
what you said
He's
is.
being passive. He knows he doesn't need to overextend with monsters. He's just putting out that damage that he knows he has. He only has one more direct attack with this Trish in order to take game 2. There's no reason to really go overboard with it. I don't know if he's playing 2 Trish. A second Trisher would be kind of disgusting. But again, if he had it, he probably would have considered.
Well,
No, he
it's
probably
important to
wouldn't
bear
play
in mind
these.
that she gets the advantage of retaliating here too, because of that decrease face up with 2 back
Yeah.
row.
Is she playing? Dragon's the one that destroys back row, right?
Correct, but you also need to bear in mind here that he's probably got mirrors set.
Probably.
It draws in MST. It eats
Yeah,
up.
you're right about that. You could easily make your decree a target for MSTs and anything else that can destroy back row like Dragon, and upon that you just instantly flip over another card. So I mean, got the Max C as well. Again, he's playing very passively this game. He's doing a lot better than game 1. So I'm wondering if she's going to send the Dragon off the Skomata here, so that way she can get rid of the decree. But
I don't know.
she might opt for the beast to get that draw as well.
I don't know if you want to get rid of that decree right now.
Well, yeah, there's 2 unknown back row, and there's just your negated core. You're not losing anything. The decree is actually helping you more than it's hurting you here. The problem is just getting over Trishula.
And I definitely don't think that EHJ has any way
The
of
Dragon.
handling this 3,000. Oh no, of course the core recyclability is important.
Yeah, there's that. You can still get that. So she is going to have to leave the decree up, knowing that it puts pressure on EHJ.
Well, he can't handle a 3,000 defense monster, especially with his Trish on board.
Yeah.
So right now the game appears to be stalemated. I mean, did he used his Raigeki this game, correct?
Yes, he used that earlier in this game.
So the couple scenarios that could come about here, Dark Hole, if he's actually playing it,
which is questionable. I mean, a lot of people that play Raigeki in the main do not really opt to play those Dark Holes, at least from what I've seen from a lot of the top decks recently. I haven't really seen very much of that. But I don't know. Thinking about the ways that he can actually get out of this, it's not. This is a very tricky situation. I mean, you got a big monster sitting in front of you, and right now all you've got is a Trish on board to kind of deal with it.
but that's one way to handle it.
Opting to get that Colossalus.
That Colossalus on either. Ooh, he's ditching it to search.
Yep, he's going for a ritual summon perhaps here.
Probably the cycle to, get full use out of the Colossalus.
Yep.
Does Shekinaga negate and destroy?
I believe so.
Yes, it does. I mean, he's got to have some way to double recur here if he's going to attempt to use this Colossalus. We'll have to wait and see.
Yep. Only time tells here, because, I mean, It's not like this is like a, super like over the top regional, so you're on a timer type thing. But I mean,
You get the ability to sit back and think, which
that's the benefit of this. It's considering this isn't like a regional or YCS level, you can actually sit back and think your play out
are
as
you
a
are you kidding me right
retaliating
now?
C comes down.
Wow.
That's got to be very fun to just see be dropped on the board. I mean,
That is actually really ridiculous to see right now.
still just not doing anything. I mean, here we go again. We're still on that just pass and draw. I mean,
Well, I mean, he lost his other Colossals that he was going to make the play with,
yep.
which really critical here. But I mean, she's fine sitting on this 3K ass.
I mean, as long as that thing sits there, she has a chance. She can start building up her cards because, again, they're just doing pass and draw. And that decree is shutting down any relevance that those other two back row have. And as a result, I mean, one of those two back row could actually be something that gets past this 3K wall. And right now he's just shutting himself out of it and with no way to get rid of it himself. So
I was going to say, why did he not attack the retaliating C on the last turn?
I was going to mention that, but I just didn't feel the need to. I'm surprised that the retaliating sea didn't get destroyed last turn. Maybe he didn't want her adding that earth insect type monster from her deck to her hand. I don't know.
I mean,
She's going to... Maybe she's already gone through all her maxis. I'm not entirely...
She might already have both in hand.
Well, no, she discarded one, remember?
Yes, so...
Yeah, so if she's only playing 2, the second copy was in her hand. There was no need to search for anything.
Now it looks like he can finally combo up here.
We'll see. I mean, last time there was a lot of monsters on board. Things happened. Let's see if that is different this time around.
Here comes Decisive Armor.
And here comes Dark Hole.
Wow.
And there's nothing that EHJ can do to stop it. I mean, unless he had one of those discard from hand protect my ass effects. And that core is going to prove to be very, very useful.
If it's not going to do much, though, because of Decree.
Well, yeah, Decree, but I mean, we're thinking ahead here. I don't know about you, but I'm one of those people that likes to think, okay, I got my play in mind. She obviously took the core back. She's ready to do whatever she needs to do for her turn. She already knows what she's going to do. The thing is she's probably trying to think ahead a little bit here, like, okay, I destroyed the Decree. This core can seriously save my ass. In one way or another, she could drop water Shaddolls Fusion Friend all day, and that would kind of hurt here. And I mean, what do you do to that at that point?
Nothing, as we've already seen.
So as long as that Decree's there, he can't really do anything in those back row either. But once she decides get rid of it, the Vanities has already been proven to be gone. She could easily make a pretty big play with it.
He's already proven that the back row aren't mirrors, because he probably would have tried to make moves with them. But I mean, it's not foreseen that they couldn't be at this stage.
Yep.
But once again, though, what do you think she set? A mathematician? A Veiler as a chum block?
It could be a lot of things. I don't know how many hedgehogs she's playing.
Hedgehog would be disgusting right now.
I saw her dump one with Mathematician earlier this game. If she plays more than one copy and she set one, that's going to net her some very important cards. If it's something like Dragon or Squamata, that can kind of help as long as it doesn't get like taken care of while it's still face down. There's a lot of things that she could have here. It could be a magician or whatever. A clown. I'm thinking ahead of myself here with the magician thing. But yeah, it could be a clown. Something like, oh, hey, it's clown for a later turn. Doesn't hurt to have that. You're at 2,600 life points. You want to make sure you at least have something. I mean, rituals that come out at like 2,300 or higher, that's still relevant damage. You don't want to be taking that. So she might be taking damage near. I don't know.
We could be going to game 3 here. It's definitely a possibility. Considering the board state, that Manju is really sick right now. I mean, your opponent's playing 3 Manju and 3 Senju, and it's insane that he hasn't seen it this stage in the game.
Yeah.
You know? So, more power to him getting... Oh, gosh.
Going for the kaleidoscope.
The combo is going to start getting real here. And I really can't wait to see where this goes.
Makes you wonder if she has some kind of answer here.
Well, she's got 1 face down that's not core, and 1 monster.
Could be that she didn't even set the core either.
That is true. I mean, I would
have the 1 card in hand. She could be bluffing to make it seem like it's in hand still. I mean, it's not really relevant yet, and you wouldn't want to throw it in harm's way really if it's going to be a key piece to a later turn. So you could opt to keep it in your hand, or you could play it down as kind of like a bluff. So I mean,
I'm seeing wombo combo here.
Just got to see how it continues to play out. Assuming that monster is weaker than 1400, 2300 is so far the current max, but we're seeing a mirror here, so let's see what she what he drops.
What does he have access to? 8, 6. Oh, for another Brio. 10?
Oh, that's right. He did have the decisive armor in hand.
So that should pop the...
That was a couple turns ago, so it's pretty easy to kind of forget something like that is sitting in your opponent's hand. So it's definitely pretty interesting.
Decisive armor got him in the game. Pretty much a blowout there.
Going into game 3.
Now, you definitely know that your opponent... Well, I mean, she gets the advantage of not having to go first now, which helps her out extremely.
We'll see, because I mean, she won game 1 by going first. Yeah, she won game 1 by going first. She had the answers, and he kind of just played very aggressively. So, like, he kind of just played into her hand. Game 2, he definitely took a step back and was a little bit more passive. Actually, I would say he was a lot more passive, the Trish, and not opting to summon another monster to try and push for extra damage, things like that. He was being very passive about that, which was good.
But the thing is,
I'm hoping to see a little bit more of that, but maybe a little bit more aggression in this game. Last game was very good. It was the tempo, I guess you could say, was very good between the option to be passive and the option to be aggressive. Maybe a little bit more aggression would be okay, playing like a smaller monster or something to kind of get that chip damage, but I guess it depends on the smaller monster. If it's a Manju, it still nets you a free card.
It's important to keep in mind that Game 1 was played very aggressively by him not knowing what she was playing. Game 2 was played a lot more flawlessly by him, actually doing what Nekroz do. You know, you take the ebb and the flow with your opponent. And it's something to note that he didn't open up a Manju or a Senju really early in the game, which can really tip the duel in his favor. And like I mentioned before, going into this particular game, though, you're going to have to be aware that she's going to get to go second here, which is going to force Nekroz to open up 5 cards. So unless the Nekroz player is confident or comfortable with leaving a Unicorn on the board or a Colossus to try to put a damper on the opponent, it's definitely something to bear in mind. You know,
something else that you kind of need to keep in mind is if they're going to change their side options here. We've already gone through game 2. They've already had their first taste of siding. So they're going to wonder if some of their cards that they sided in were ideal. He might actually opt to side out maybe a copy. Depending on how many copies of Decree he sides, he might opt to side out a copy of it because those 2 back row could have been very relevant. They might have actually won him the game a lot sooner. And she may rethink what she sided in against him. So... I mean, the retaliating kind of came a little bit late. She had the Maxi in hand. She used one earlier in the game. It was just kind of there to be retaliating C. Couldn't get that extra benefit from having it destroyed. Again, we're not entirely sure why he didn't kill it a turn sooner, but I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if they play a little bit differently here.
Well, it depends on who gets turn priority. As the dust cloud settles in to see who goes first.
I believe that EHJ is going first here, so
yep.
Yeah, she's opting to go second.
I mean, he did open up Manju this game.
Yeah, he opened pretty strong here with the Manju. Let's just see what he actually kind of, what kind of play he makes off of this, because it could be very important. I mean, when you're going first, you only have those 5 cards, so you kind of have to make up for that one card that you're missing, and that's what he's going to be doing here. And what he does with that turn 1 is going to be interesting to see.
If only Lava Chain was still a card.
Of course. I honestly missed that card, even though a lot of people complained about it. But
wow, he's got a very strong hand.
the thing you need to remember, though, is that he only has monsters so far. He just searched a Unicorn, he played Manju, and he's netting another monster. So
But
that
Colossus turns into a spell. See?
Of course.
So he's got his engine going for the rest of the game.
I need to mute myself for 1 second. My headset is dying.
Okay. So, retaliating C. That's disgusting. So, bear in mind here that Herald is not going to make any resolution here. And the Unicorn is going to be hitting point blank.
Pretty much. So, I mean, it's still a Unicorn and a Manju to deal with. I mean,
the retaliating C trades free with the Manju, which is nice.
Of course, because it'll get her a free Max C, which is going to be very useful at pretty much any point in this game. I mean,
that's disgusting.
Trade? What's trade? Who's got trades?
That is true. Trades.
I got profit. That's what I got.
Oh, that 1400.
She's being very smart here.
Well, I would too with a 1400 beat stick.
Well, she's not opting to play more cards. Again, you don't. When you're in Game 3, anything is possible, really. Think about the cards they could play as well. You don't want... I'm one of those weird players that has to think, okay, well, they might be playing some kind of wacky card. This is something that I've encountered at a lot of events that I've been to, and it's never pretty whenever you don't expect it. So it's something that you kind of want to prepare yourself for. And by the way, the Denko here is... kind of good, kind of not. It's only shutting down one back row.
It got him through the lesser of the two evils. He gains the ability to ritual summon now, which is very important. But he had to waste a Denko and a battle phase to clear off a retaliating C. And
that's not that bad, though.
It's really not, but the only thing he probably shut himself out of is either an El Shaddolls or a core. So, he's also got here's that preparation that we were talking shit about earlier in the game. Netting its full value.
Yeah. It's gonna
no, it won't, because he's got a Rhoda and a Colossus in the grave, so he's rotating for... I
thought he had a ritual.
No, the ritual got eaten by the retaliating.
Oh, that's right. He did get banished. So, you're not going to get the full benefit of rights here. But, that's how things roll, I guess. You can't really do anything about it. So, either way, it's still a reinforcement of the army. You can't really deny its excellence. But
so, what are you thinking the combination of monsters he has in his hand right now?
I have no idea.
A Valk? The Trish is live right now. That's something to bear in mind.
Well, yes. With that retaliating C in the grave, it's definitely live.
And I think that's one of the things that... I think Trish would be a really good play if at possible to achieve right now. But I feel like having to waste the resources to do it might not be so good.
Yeah, it's not worth it. There's only one back row and only one card in the graveyard, and how relevant is it to really banish a retaliating C or a card that currently can't activate? The only real benefit you get out of it is banishing an unknown card out of the hand, and that's 1 out of 4. So it's still 3 cards that could deal with the Trish load. There's really no point in doing Trish. So there's something maybe like Decisive Armor. A Valk would be nice too. So there's a few things that you could really do here that would be better than Trish, really. Early game Trish.
Oh, he's
going for the Trish.
Well, she's going to be drawing 4 cards in hand.
Oh,
God.
Make that 5, maybe more. So.
But he's got 1 card now.
Yeah. Let's just pray that it's not Max C and that he doesn't normal summon it. Because
he did normal the Denko.
That was last turn.
No. Oh, yes, it was. My bad. Ugh.
I think it was.
Okay. Those were okay.
Yeah, it was the core, too.
I'm thinking she might be playing multiple cores, considering she's had it all 3 games.
Well, she might side a copy or two as well, because I mean, when you think about it, Trish, or well, not Trish, but like Nekroz they're undeniably good. So it's something you're probably guaranteed to run into, maybe once or twice at the very least. So it's kind of good that core can kind of just act as one of those attributes that you really need, and yeah, I mean,
The that El Shaddolls fusion is insane here.
yep.
Also, I guess a rank 4 is pretty good. I heard 101 sucking up stuff is pretty good.
I mean, 101, I've heard that it's going to see a bit more play, so it'd be nice to kind of see that again. Castell being the ever so popular card that it is, it kind of overshadowed 101 for a really relevant amount of time. So, but we're going to see the mathematician crash into the Denko.
She's fishing for something.
Yeah, she's digging, which kind of gives off that vibe that she's not in a very good situation here. The Denko's probably applying way too much pressure or something.
Oh,
And
no.
there might be the out that she just drew.
And she didn't shovel hand, I believe. I think she had that 3rd card in.
Well, either way, she still gets that extra benefit out of it. It's not like Shaddolls can't just fusion summon and put a monster on board. It's still battle, or okay, I guess it's not technically still battle phase.
Technically main phase too.
Yeah,
but...
she's kind of opted to leave herself in battle phase. Here comes Norden.
Please, this is ridiculous.
There we go. Welcome to a play that we won't be seeing for very much longer, hopefully.
Please normal summon Falco and Trish.
She normal summon Mathematician, remember?
Oh. Ooh!
And the Veiler. At least it's a 2200 that's about to get eaten by itself.
It's just warping into
we're going to see... Yeah, this is over.
Oh, that's disgusting.
This is now over. I want to say 100%, but as far as I'm aware, we haven't seen a Regeki yet. And if he top decks that, then you, sir, are a champ. I will applaud you, and yeah, good game. But
I mean, his ritual spells are now deads.
Yeah, he can't. Well, his ritual monsters are dead as well. He can't play literally, she shut down 2 different types of cards in his deck. Good luck getting, okay. I mean, okay, in a way, yes, he can still do shit, but...
This is deck thinning, which is pretty important right now.
Yeah. You kind of need to. You have no cards. You have a 1400 monster that's going to net you a ritual monster from your deck, and what you do with it is very important. It just goes to show how powerful Regeki and Darkles still are.
I mean, they're the only neutral board wipes in the game right now, and I mean, they're honestly a fair balance to the current game state. So what do you grab here?
Eternally, he's going for the Valkyries.
I mean, it gets him the chance to make the rank 4 counterplay on the next turn, which is really important.
Of course.
I mean, it's honestly the only thing you can do. But, I mean, the threat of Trish is also real here, like we discussed last turn that I messed up. I wonder how many...
It should be interesting to see how this plays, because now there's a level 2 tuner on board.
Noitalis is 8 stars? 9. Actually. I don't know if I feel that flipping the Falco is optimal right now, but...
Well, it does give her a Hedgehog to play with here, so she can still get into a fusion card, and that kind of allows her to out something that he might end up playing. I mean, getting a Shaddolls fusion and El Shaddolls fusion, stuff like that. I mean, you can't really deny that those cards would be amazing right now. Getting damage with El Shaddolls fusion.
Can he Rhoda for Archmage right now?
I believe.
Is Archmage the 4?
Archmage is a 3.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
No! Great Sorcerer. Excuse me.
Oh yes, he kind of confused me there.
This gets him into an answer to the Noitalis.
Yep.
But you're just going to be in a bad situation.
You're still in a bad situation here. Yeah, you can attack over both of the monsters, which is honestly ideal, even though the Hedgehog will net a free card. You're still giving your opponent only 3 cards, and one of them. So technically, they've only got 2 cards against what you have on the board. And I guess he's opting not to flip the hedgehog. I don't know if I would have done that. I feel like killing it would be a lot more beneficial here because leaving it there to flip itself up next turn gives
A
you
monster.
it gives a monster to fuse with as well as a card from the deck. So maybe he just doesn't want her deck thinning on a prior turn and potentially drawing into a really good card or something. It seems kind of backwards logic, I guess, but
I would have killed it. There's no
yeah.
reason to let your opponent have a Shaddolls monster when you can search for a Shaddolls spell to fuse.
Yeah, that thing's sitting there actively saying, I'm going to fuse next turn. And now he has to really think about what he's going to exceed with
Your
because
options are Castel and a 101.
you know,
You have to remember we're in main phase 2 right now.
I think there are more cards that he can actually use.
Oh, what do you have in mind?
That
Oh, that's a good card.
That's literally what I was thinking. I'm like,
I
there's
forgot
4
that.
cards. There's 4 cards to 1.
Okay, well this
That's
also
definitely.
this gets him or gets her the effect to search a monster,
Yep.
and but she
And
gets the spell
so
anyway.
it's kind of the same result, but you still make sure they both get off the board. I don't know.
I
I feel
mean,
like
he's committing her to force a battle phase for him to nuke.
Castell would have been just as good. You just attack over the hedgehog. Same result would have
You
still gotten Shaddolls fusion, and then
you
just
have to remember
bounce.
though, the Shaddolls fusion trades with the fusion as a 1-for-1, and then the 2 card she mills turns into an even bigger plus. Especially milling a hedgehog and a squamata to mill the draw guy beast, and you're gonna about to get
See the
trick
damage
launch.
juggler here.
Well, I mean, she can make 101 very well herself, or
Yep.
Excite Knight, or 101. Whatever these cool kids play in their decks.
I mean, Castell would be very nice here. I'm sure that she's playing it, and a lot of decks that can make rank 4s, they pretty much almost always play Castell. Cowboys on that list of cards that are almost always considered somewhat exciting. There's plenty of rank 4s you could probably think of, so...
Interesting
And
to see the dropping of the Trick Clown.
instead of the damage.
I mean, it's not a bad play. But she's building the chain with the clown and the construct. So no one said deck thinning was bad.
Thank God I got to that in time.
So there's the young Trick Clown.
I had another Skype call coming in. My phone was still volume up there, so I was like, I don't want to do that. And I think that I'm still in the call. Yep. And now I'm not. I don't know if I just answered the call and I was the only one there or not, but
It doesn't matter. We're about done here.
I don't know. Yeah.
Castell. Someone Castell this shit away.
Castell 101 would be beautiful here. It would be such a huge insult.
I remember them style points.
That extra 100 damage, getting to absorb your monster and use it to protect myself for free, I guess. Again, I said this before, 101's kind of fallen out of favor in form of Castell, but...
Oh no, she just said, nah, flip that bitch face down. Oh.
Yeah, I wouldn't give him the option to resummon it. You don't have game on board. You're going to flip that thing face down and you're going to kill it. You're not going to give him the option to just somehow draw 1 card that lets him put out 2 level 4s, and now we're kind of done. I said this 2 turns ago. This game's over.
Does this count as style points?
Yes, I would say this is definitely style points. Having the 1 of BLS, definitely style points at the end of the game.
That was Svannifico. I applaud.
I saw an interesting game 1. Game 2, EHJ stepped back a bit, play a little bit more passively. Game 3, he had a lot of monsters, I would say. So having a lot of monsters doesn't exactly mean good. So I think that was a huge part of the reason why he didn't come out on top here. And on top of that,
game
she
3
had good cards.
Game 3 is a very good example of Yugioh.
Pretty much.
One of us for
Games
days.
1 and 2 really don't matter unless you won game 1 and you are about to win game 2. Always assume that there's going to be a game 3 and prepare yourself mentally for it, because it's going to be the most important game out of any game that you're going to play.
Exactly.
That's the way I see it. So, good game on both of them. Obviously, congratulations to Peanut Butter Pancake. And hopefully we see some more good games.
All right, guys. We are out. Later.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please thumbs up this video to show your support. And please check out Vanguard 40 for Cardfight Vanguard, MKohl Games for miscellaneous trading card games, and No Limit Gaming for a brand new series of Yu-Gi-Oh videos. Thanks for watching.